Hello, Xylophoney here, and welcome to another episode of How to Pixelmon, your instructional Pixelmon guide. Now we're sitting here with a good friend of mine, Shuckle, and this is going to be a very special episode, because I know Shuckle might not seem like a lot, but he is something extra special, and I'll show you why. Now, first of all, we gotta look at the stats of Shuckle. These stats are amazing. Go look at, you know what, I'll show them to you right here. Bang. Look at it. Look at it, how beautiful it is. He has no stats aside from his special defense and physical defense, and those stats kind of make up for the point loss. So this makes Shuckle effectively one of the tankiest Pokemon in the game, and you know how I like my tanky Pokemon. So what we're going to do with him is we're going to set him up with health, so he can actually, soak up a few more hits, and then just put more defense and special defense on him when we're training him. That's what it's all going to be about. Setting him up to be a monster tank, because looking at his attack and speed, he's not going to put any damage out himself. Any damage that is put out is going to be from Toxic. This is the reason you have a Shuckle. Now, obviously, going up against a Steel type is not a good idea, because Toxic can't affect Steel. Not to mention, Steel is super effective against Shuckle, as is Rock and Water. Those things you might want to avoid, because then they'll have a chance of taking down Shuckle. But, if you go up against something else, they're going to take a lot of hits to whittle Shuckle down. Meanwhile, you can hit Safeguard, so you don't have any status problems. Withdraw, so you can increase your defense as you're going. And then Rest, so you can heal yourself up once you do finally start to get low. Meanwhile, they're going to be hit by Toxic and losing health. So, this can be a very effective strategy if you like tanky Pokemon. Shuckle's as tanky as it gets. Now, if we want to look at the ability he has, it's Sturdy, which honestly on Shuckle is completely useless. You're not going to kill a Shuckle in one hit, so there's no point in having it. The ability Sturdy, and that's the only one that is currently in Pixelmon. Shuckle's not really known for his abilities as much as his stats, so that's what we're going to look at. But we're also going to look at some of the other abilities he can learn, or the other moves he can learn, because currently they do not work in Pixelmon, but they will be effective at one point. Now, Shell Smash does work in Pixelmon, but it's not really something that you want to use on Shuckle, because you'll lower your defensive stats, which is kind of all you have, and you'll boost your attack stats, which is kind of pointless because you don't have really anything to boost. You take an attack power of 10 and you boost it by 200%. It's still just an attack power of 20. Meanwhile, you'll be cutting your, only good stats, your defensive stats, in half, which is not what you want. So don't use Shell Smash on Shuckle. These moves, however, are potentially worth it. So we have Power Trick, which makes it so you switch your attack with your defense stat. Once again, this currently doesn't work, but if you want to put a move such as Stone Edge or Rock Throw on your Shuckle with Power Trick, then you can switch Shuckle's incredibly high defense for attack, meaning you'll have an insanely high number in your attack damage, and it'll completely crush out your opponents. Now keep in mind, you're still going to be super slow, and this will leave your defense completely vulnerable. So this is more of something you want to use up against special attackers that won't really be able to use a physical attack against you. Because if you do this, it'll pretty much make Shuckle a very slow glass cannon when it comes to physical attacks hitting him. Now another one we have here is my personal favorite. The user employs its psychic power to average its attack and special attacks with those of the targets. Now this means pretty much you even out Shuckle's attack with your enemy's attack. Now if your enemy puts out a sweeper, let's say they have like 300 attack, Shuckle has like 10. Evening them out will pretty much cut your enemy's attack and special attack in half, which makes it so Shuckle's tankiness will go that much further and be that much more useful. It is kind of amazing, but once again, it doesn't work. This is definitely a move I would put on any Shuckle that's trying to be an all-out tank. The other one we have is Guard Split, which is something you never want to use. This will average your special defense and defense with your target, meaning chances are you're just going to increase their defenses by a ton. Not something you want to do. It might work in double battles, though, so you can help out your teammate, but once again, not working in Pixelmon. So once all this stuff does get updated so it works. Definitely consider using some of these moves to get a very unique Shuckle. But for the most part, you're just going to want to use its super tankiness and the move Toxic to be able to just troll your opponents to death. And they're going to hate you. They're going to be attacking the Shuckle with everything they have, and it's not going to die. And it's going to be hilarious. If you're entertained by that kind of thing, go ahead and make a Shuckle. You will not regret it. But that's all I have to say about him. If you have, look at that face. It's beautiful. Oh, just a little smiley face. Yeah, if you have any questions or comments, definitely leave them down below, as well as suggesting other Pixelmon you want to see in this series. And yeah, that was all I have to say, so thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time on How to Pixelmon.